3 miraculous ways to hear your soul's voice. Divine secrets revealed for prophetic guidance. The church bells sounded like an angelic chorus, ringing through the quaint village of Gracewood, as Elizabeth knelt in prayer, a flickering candle casting warmth over her tear-streaked face. "Oh, St. Jude, intercede for Jacob, please," she whispered, desperation weaving through her voice. Beneath the ordinary sky, a divine presence swirled around her, vibrating with hope and expectation, urging her heart to listen closely. 3 miraculous ways to hear your soul's voice, she murmured softly, a flicker of inspiration igniting within her. As if in response, the wind picked up, rustling the leaves outside the chapel, stirring the essence of prayer into the very air, whispering her soul's hidden secrets. It was a mystical moment, transcending the mundane. With each flicker of the candle, Elizabeth felt a surge of strength, as if God himself was breathing life into her weary spirit. "What are you trying to tell me?" she asked, gripping her rosary tightly, feeling its cool beads steady her shaking hands. In her heart, she knew the village was rallying around her and Jacob. It seemed everyone in Gracewood was praying together. During each Wednesday gathering, miraculous stories danced among the parishioners, each one a testament to the divine intervention they had witnessed. Old Mrs. Thompson's arthritis vanished, Jason Parker's failing crops blossomed once more, and a wildflower brought by a young girl was said to bloom all year. These tales spun a web of faith, resonating deep within Elizabeth's heart. Yet, beneath the warmth of community, a tempest brewed within her soul. The intensity built as the community banded together, preparing themselves for the significant task ahead. With the realization that a pilgrimage could bring hope, Elizabeth felt an electric pulse coursing through her veins. The thought flared like fire in her heart. A journey to St. Anselm could be what Jacob needed, a climb that could cleanse their spirits. "Dear God, guide my next steps," she breathed, the urgency palpable, hinting at divine purpose. "Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the idea took root in her mind, Elizabeth knew she had to fund their journey. Suddenly, a vision of fragrant pies and sweet pastries filled her thoughts. "A bake sale," she gasped, brushing away tears as inspiration washed over her like a warm embrace. Each bake would be an act of devotion, each dollar a prayer lifted to the heavens. As village folk gathered to support her, the atmosphere thickened with hopeful energy, and for the first time in weeks, Elizabeth felt a flicker of peace amidst grief. Yet, when the day of departure arrived, storm clouds gathered, threatening to snuff out the flame of hope. Amidst raindrops tapping ferociously on the window panes, doubts crept into her heart like unwelcome shadows. What if today is not our day? She pondered, fear lacing her thoughts. It was there, in the thickening storm, that shimmering rays of light pierced through, sudden and brilliant, stunning her with a spark of reassurance. Perhaps, just perhaps, they were meant to find more than healing. Perhaps a miracle awaited them that would rewrite their destiny. As they stepped towards St. Anselm, Elizabeth's heart raced, wonder spinning in her chest. Ready or not, the sacred journey had begun. What wondrous turn of events could this pilgrimage unveil? Would the voice of her soul lead them to miraculous discoveries that would change everything? The sun struggled to break through the thick clouds as Elizabeth and Jacob began their journey towards St. Anselm. Despite the murmur of the storm, there was an unmistakable resolve in their steps. Elizabeth felt a steady calm, like a river of grace flowing through her, urging her forward. "This is our time," she thought, and for every doubt that flickered in her mind, a prayer would rise to extinguish it. As they walked, the village behind them slowly faded, replaced by the serene beauty of nature. The path was rugged, with stones jutting out like reminders that every journey comes with its challenges. "Look at that," Jacob said, pointing at a glimmering creek that wound through the trees. The water danced in the fading light, capturing the essence of freedom. "It's beautiful," Elizabeth replied, her heart swelling with hope. "Just like our prayers, flowing towards something greater." With each step, the world around them became vibrant, imbued with the colors of faith. The trees whispered, and the flowers seemed to nod in agreement as if nature itself conspired to affirm their path. Yet, lurking above, a shadow threatened. Elizabeth felt the rain begin to fall, slowly at first, but soon it turned into a torrential downpour. "Jacob, we need to find shelter," she shouted over the roar of the storm, panic creeping into her voice as the winds howled. They rushed towards a cluster of ancient oaks, their gnarled branches providing a fragile defense against the storm's fury. Huddled beneath the branches, heartbeats raced. Elizabeth squeezed Jacob's hand. "We're meant to be here in this very moment. Don't let fear take hold." Suddenly, a bright bolt of lightning zigzagged across the sky, illuminating the darkness. Time paused as they caught each other's eyes. In that flash, Elizabeth felt something shift inside her, a stirring, like the whisper of the divine brushing against her soul. "This is not just about healing, Jacob, it's about trust," she said, the weight of those words settling on her heart. As the storm raged on, the sounds around them were both terrifying and beautiful. The thunder roared like a symphony of heavenly voices, reminding them they were not alone in this tumult. Elizabeth began to sing softly, a lullaby of faith that rose above the chaos. Gradually, Jacob joined her. Their voices melded together, creating a bubble of hope amidst the storm. Encircled by nature's tempest, something miraculous began to happen. The tempestuous winds swirled as if caught in a dance, and for the first time in ages, Elizabeth felt a presence enfolding them, a sense of safety amidst uncertainty. "Whatever lies ahead, we'll face it together," she breathed, releasing her fears into the soft rustle of the leaves. Then came a voice, not from the storm but from within. "Do not fear, for I am with you. The path is set, and your journey is part of the greater plan." Tears streamed down Elizabeth's cheeks, each one a testament to the life-affirming truth she felt deep in her soul. This was more than a pilgrimage. It was a profound exploration of faith, a testament to the strength found in community, prayer, and love. As the rain began to ease and a sudden stillness enveloped them, Elizabeth felt a pull in her heart towards the path ahead. It beckoned like an unfinished story waiting to unfold. "What awaits us at St. Anselm?" she pondered. The shadows of doubt began to melt away, replaced by an unshakable certainty. And just as their enkindled spirits soared, a distant glow caught Elizabeth's attention, shimmering through the trees. "Look," she exclaimed, her voice airy with wonder. "Is that light leading us forward?" With hearts renewed, they stepped out from under the trees, ready to follow the heavenly glimmer. What awaited them on this sacred journey? Would the light reveal something that would change the course of their lives forever? As Elizabeth and Jacob moved closer to the shimmering light, the air around them felt charged with possibility. The rain had transformed into a soft mist, each droplet catching the pale glow that guided them. It felt like the very fabric of heaven was woven into the atmosphere, wrapping them in an embrace of warmth and promise. "Do you feel that?" Jacob asked, his voice barely above a whisper, as though speaking too loudly might shatter the delicate spell of serenity surrounding them. "It's like everything has shifted." "Yes," Elizabeth replied, her senses heightened. She could hardly believe how dynamic the world had become in mere moments. Each sound, the rustling leaves, the burbling creek, seemed to resonate with their hearts. Nature itself felt alive, in harmony with their journey. They were not just traveling through the forest. They were being led, beckoned by some sacred force beyond their comprehension. As they ventured deeper into the trees, the light intensified, weaving through the branches like an ethereal ribbon. Elizabeth's heart raced. She had come to expect challenges and uncertainty on their pilgrimage. Yet here they were, enveloped in warmth and hope. She turned to Jacob, her eyes sparkling with joy. "What if this light is more than just a guide? What if it carries a message for us?" "Only one way to find out," Jacob replied with a nod, his smile mirroring the excitement bubbling inside her. Following the light, they pushed through the underbrush, their footsteps light and unburdened. Every step felt purposeful, as if the ground was affirming their mission. Elizabeth could feel her spirit awakening, and she knew that this moment was sacred. Suddenly, the trees opened up into a small clearing, and there it was, a magnificent tree bathed in radiant light. The trunk was thick and gnarled, reaching upwards as if seeking the heavens themselves. Its leaves shimmered with hues of gold and silver, casting a glow that seemed to dance with the rhythm of the universe. "This is incredible," Jacob said, awe evident in his voice. As they approached the tree, an inexplicable peace washed over Elizabeth. She felt drawn to it, almost as if the tree had been waiting for their arrival. It felt like a divine meeting place, a sacred altar where prayers could be offered and answers could be received. "Look at the markings on the bark," Elizabeth whispered, kneeling before the majestic tree. The ancient patterns etched into the wood told stories that transcended time, whispers of the past mingling with the present. Each mark seemed to hold a promise, and as she traced her fingers over them, she felt a surge of energy course through her. "What do you think it means?" Jacob asked, kneeling beside her, his eyes wide with wonder. "I think," Elizabeth began, hesitantly, "that each carving reflects a journey of faith. Look, they seem to tell tales of hope, trials, and redemption. Perhaps we too are part of this story. Our struggles are not in vain." At that moment, a gentle breeze rustled through the clearing, and a single leaf floated down, landing delicately in Elizabeth's hand. It glowed softly, pulsing with an internal light, and she felt a rush of revelation flood her heart. This is a sign," she breathed, tears welling up in her eyes. "It's an invitation to listen, to hear not just with our ears, but with our souls." "Listen," Jacob echoed, placing his hand over his heart. "What if this is how we begin to discern our path?" Elizabeth nodded, the weight of those words settling within her. She knew a deeper understanding lay ahead, waiting just beyond this moment, begging to be embraced. The glow from the leaf spread warmth through her fingers, and she understood that the journey was taking a turn, one that would require even more trust. "What comes next?" she asked, taking a deep breath as the wind whispered promises of the unknown. And as they sat together, surrounded by the sacred presence, the light intensified, and a sense of anticipation hung in the air. What divine lessons would this luminous tree reveal, and would they be ready to accept them? As the vibrant light enveloped them, Elizabeth and Jacob exchanged glances filled with wonder and anticipation. The glow of the tree seemed to pulse in time with their beating hearts, a rhythmic call that resonated deep within their beings. The air was thick with expectation, as if the universe itself held its breath, waiting for them to take the next step. "What if we offered a prayer here?" Jacob suggested, his voice trembling slightly with awe. "A prayer of thanks, or for guidance?" "Yes, I feel that too," Elizabeth responded, a sense of urgency growing within her. They had shared countless moments of worship, but this felt different, more profound. This was a sacred moment, and they were standing at the threshold of something extraordinary. Gathering their thoughts, they kneeled together beneath the majestic tree, the markings gleaming softly in the sacred light. Elizabeth closed her eyes and reached for a sense of connection. "Heavenly Father," she began, her voice steady yet filled with reverence, "we come before you in gratitude and wonder. Please open our hearts to your truth and guide us on this journey." Jacob joined his voice with hers, adding, "Lord, we seek your wisdom. Help us to understand what you want us to learn from this moment." The sincerity in his words stirred something deep within her. As they prayed in unison, the atmosphere transformed. The leaves above them shimmered even brighter, almost as if responding to their plea. A soft breeze carried a whisper that brushed against their cheeks, and Elizabeth felt a warmth envelop them, like a heavenly embrace. "Can you feel that?" Jacob breathed, his eyes wide with astonishment. "Yes, it's like I can almost hear something," Elizabeth replied, her mind racing with possibilities. What if our hearts are being spoken to? In that stillness, A thought came to Elizabeth, a revelation like a golden thread connecting their souls to something larger than themselves. What if each leaf represents a story of hope waiting to be realized? What if we're meant to listen not just for ourselves, but for others too? Jacob nodded, his face illuminated with understanding. We could act as vessels, sharing what we learn. We could be the voices of hope for those who feel lost or alone. A newfound determination ignited within them. They had arrived here not just for personal growth, but to become instruments of God's love and guidance. As the prayers flowed from their lips, Elizabeth felt a lightness emerge. Burdens she hadn't realized she was carrying began to dissolve. Then, unexpectedly, the ground beneath them trembled slightly, not in a panic, but as an invitation to awaken. Elizabeth opened her eyes, and the tree seemed to glow brighter, illuminating a path that started beneath it, winding away through the mist. "Jacob, look, the path, it's like it's leading us somewhere." With a shared glance, they rose to their feet, invigorated by the possibilities. It felt like their earlier prayers had sparked a movement deeper than expectation, a call to action. They took their first steps forward, hearts racing with the thrill of uncertainty and divine excitement. As they followed the illuminated path, the light seemed to pulse, guiding their footsteps with gentle encouragement. Both sensed they would not just walk this trail for themselves. They would gather wisdom to share. And just ahead, the path divided, revealing two different trails lit by the ethereal glow. The air grew thick with choice. Which way would they go? Would the left path unveil the answers they sought, or would the right one lead them to unforeseen treasures? Elizabeth glanced at Jacob, her heart a tapestry of hope and curiosity. "Which path do we take?" she asked, standing at the brink of their next adventure. The air thrummed with divine mystery, beckoning them onward into the unknown. As they stood before the divided paths, an unusual stillness enveloped them. Elizabeth felt her heart race, the air thick with divine anticipation. She could see each trail shimmering, beckoning them forward, yet both were cloaked in unseen possibilities. "What if," Jacob began, his voice barely above a whisper, "we let our hearts guide us? What if we close our eyes and simply listen?" Elizabeth nodded, trusting the instinct that was stirring within her. "Yes, let us take a moment to attune ourselves. God might reveal something in silence." They closed their eyes, taking deep breaths, grounding themselves in faith. The world around them faded, replaced by a soft pulse, a rhythm echoing from within. Images danced behind Elizabeth's eyelids. She saw the left path woven with branches of deep emerald and golden whispers, almost like laughter, felt bright, filled with energy. The right path, in contrast, was wrapped in misty tendrils, secretive, inviting introspection. "Jacob, I see joy on the left path," she breathed, a smile creeping upon her lips. "It's alive and warm, almost like a celebration." "Then why does the right path feel so enticing?" He responded thoughtfully. "It's calling me to draw close, like an introspective journey, where revelations might be buried deep within." Encouraged, Elizabeth opened her eyes. "Maybe we don't have to choose one over the other. What if they are both essential for us?" Jacob's eyes lit up, a spark of excitement igniting between them. "Yes, we can explore the joy first and then seek the depth. Could be balanced, like light and shadow dancing together." With a gentle push of faith in their hearts, they decided to take the left path first. As they stepped onto the freshly illuminated trail, the atmosphere shifted again. The laughter they had felt earlier now grew louder, swirling around them like joyous music. "I can feel something," Jacob said, his head tilting as if he could discern the sound. "It's as if the leaves themselves are singing." As they ventured deeper, vibrant colors danced around them, golden light spilled from the branches, illuminating their faces. Elizabeth felt a bubbling joy rising within her, and she grasped Jacob's hand, squeezing it tightly. "Look," Jacob exclaimed, his eyes wide with amazement. In front of them, a gathering of creatures had come together, drawing near to the radiant pulse of the tree. Each had a unique brilliance. It felt like a community formed from hope and aspirations. "What do you think they want?" she pondered aloud, captivated by the sight before her. A soft warmth enveloped her, as if the unison of these beings was some divine reflection of their own hearts. With a gentle nod, Jacob suggested, "Let us listen. Maybe they hold a message, something God wants us to absorb." As they stood amidst the spectacle, they felt the echo of a shared heartbeat. It resonated around them, weaving through their souls, carrying whispers of encouragement and faith. The air shimmered as they took a step closer, hearts racing again at this new opportunity. Just then, the scene shifted, and the joyful chorus faded into delicate strands of tranquility. "Before we act, let us remember," Elizabeth began, her voice steady, "whatever we discover here, we must share with others. This isn't just our journey. It's a call to our wider family." Jacob nodded earnestly, determination glimmering in his eyes. "Yes, we must gather these lessons like jewels and bring them back to those who hunger for hope." They could feel the pulse of the divine, urging them forward, guiding them homeward through whatever treasures awaited. But with the left path promising joy, there loomed the right which promised the depth of soul-searching revelations. As they pondered their next steps, Elizabeth felt a ripple of energy. "Jacob," she whispered, "what if the right path holds the answer to lifting burdens we haven't yet acknowledged?" The light from the tree seemed to agree, shimmering in response. Inviting their hearts to choose once more, would they uncover the full chorus of life on the joyous left path, or risk plunging into the depths of self-discovery on the right? Each choice held its own treasures, and the mystery unfurled like a sacred scroll in the air. What lay ahead in the unknown could change everything. With hearts full of possibility, Elizabeth and Jacob stood at the threshold of their choice. The atmosphere around them was electric, thick with divine whispers. Jacob glanced at Elizabeth, his eyes brimming with wonder and uncertainty. "Which path holds our next step, Elizabeth? The joy that uplifts or the depth that transforms?" Elizabeth turned her gaze towards the misty right path, feeling its pull an invitation to dive deeper into the unknown. "What if we embrace both paths as parts of a greater calling? To align our joy with purpose?" "I like that," Jacob exclaimed, enthusiasm bubbling within him again. "Let us bring the joy we find on the left into the depth of the right. New treasures might await us." An unspoken agreement settled between them. They could feel the divine guidance gently nudging them forward. With faith as their compass, they stepped onto the right path, leaving behind the vibrant laughter for a moment of introspection. As they made their choice, cool mists embraced them, swirling and shifting like soft clouds around their bodies, wrapping them in unity with the unseen. The deeper they traveled, the softer the light became into subtler hues of pastel blues and greens. It felt as though the environment transformed, inviting them to listen, really listen, to the heartbeat of the earth beneath their feet and the universe above. "I wonder what lies hidden in this quiet," Jacob murmured as they walked, his voice now a gentle echo. "Sometimes peace teaches us what joy cannot." Finding a small clearing, they paused, letting the tranquil energy wash over them. Elizabeth closed her eyes, sensing a wave of warmth flowing from somewhere deep within the earth. It resonated with the very core of her being. "Can you feel it?" Elizabeth said, her eyes fluttering open. "There's something here, a sense of stillness calling us to reflect." "I do," Jacob replied softly, closing his eyes again. "Maybe we need to let go of our burdens, to allow the light of joy to guide us through." Suddenly, as if in response to their heartfelt desire, the air shimmered again. A figure slowly emerged from the mist, a luminous being, radiating peace and wisdom. The surroundings seemed to hold its breath in reverence. "Who are you?" Elizabeth whispered, awe blooming in her chest. "I am the guardian of revelations," the being replied, voice harmonizing with the winds. "I hold the depth of your soul's songs and the secrets you seek." In this moment, Elizabeth felt her breath hitch. It was as if a sacred bridge uniting heaven and earth had opened. "What must we do?" Jacob's voice trembled with anticipation, filled with both wonder and fear. "To discover your true selves, you must strip away the layers of doubt and fear," the guardian instructed. You are called to embrace both joy and introspection. Seek the lessons that both paths offer. Only then can the burdens be lifted. Elizabeth's heart danced with a blend of fear and excitement. The clarity in the Guardian's message rang true, a revelation urging them not to shy away from the depths that might reveal their greatest treasures. "Will you guide us?" Jacob asked, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. With a gentle nod, the Guardian gestured towards the lush barriers of mist. "Continue on your journey, and I shall guide you in ways unseen. You carry the light of joy. Let it pilot you through the shadows of doubt." As the Guardian's luminescence dimmed, leaving them with lingering warmth in their hearts, Elizabeth and Jacob exchanged glances. Their journey was far from over, filled with divine mysteries just waiting to unfurl. "Let us carry the teachings of joy and depth," they affirmed together, ready to take on whatever awaited them next. With renewed courage, they stepped further along the path, the shimmering mist guiding their way, knowing that each footfall echoed with purpose. Yet still, the weight of unacknowledged burdens lingered at the edge of their minds, urging them to explore deeper truths. What further revelations awaited them in the embrace of introspection? And how might their newly discovered insights transform the way they saw their shared journey? As they journeyed onward, the answers loomed ever closer, still shrouded in divine mystery. As Elizabeth and Jacob continued down the misty path, a gentle breeze played with their hair, whispering secrets of the universe. Embracing the moment, Elizabeth felt a sense of anticipation, her heart pounding not from fear, but from the thrill of what lay ahead. Jacob walked beside her, focused yet curious, like a child eager to uncover the treasure hidden beneath layers of earth. "Do you think the depths will reveal our burdens?" Jacob asked, eyes glimmering with hope. "Perhaps, or maybe it's about understanding them," Elizabeth replied softly, her voice just melding with the soothing sounds around them. "Every shadow holds a lesson, doesn't it?" "Yes, and maybe even joy," Jacob added, a smile lighting his face. "Sometimes we learn in unexpected places." With each step, the air became richer, filled with a tapestry of scents: earthy moss, fresh rain, and something sweet, reminiscent of blooming flowers. The dialogue of their hearts shared sacred space, weaving their thoughts together in a quiet communion. As the light shifted to a deeper shade of turquoise, they came upon an ancient tree, tall and proud, its gnarled branches extending into the heavens. It appeared as if it were a witness to every sorrow and every joy that had graced the earth. The wisdom of ages seemed to emanate from its bark, calling out to them. "Let us rest here," Elizabeth suggested, feeling drawn to the tree's grandeur. They took a seat on the lush grass beneath its sprawling branches, welcoming the moment. "What do you think it has to say to us?" Jacob asked, leaning against the sturdy trunk, eyes closed as if praying. Elizabeth tilted her head back, allowing the dappled sunlight filtering through the leaves to warm her face. "Perhaps we should simply listen." In this shared silence, the world melted away. Elizabeth's mind drifted, opening to the sensations swirling around her. The rhythmic rustling of leaves spoke in gentle tones, nudging her thoughts towards her own burdens, the fears and doubts that had settled quietly over time, like dust on cherished memories. "Why do we often forget?" Elizabeth wondered aloud. "Why do we allow these burdens to overshadow our joy?" Jacob's eyes fluttered open, and warmth spread across his face. "Because we believe they define us. In that belief, we forget the light we carry within." That simple truth tethered Elizabeth's heart. She felt a surge of sacred energy, as if the tree, the air, and even the whispered breeze conspired to remind her of who she truly was, a vessel of divine light. Suddenly, the atmosphere thickened, and a soft voice resonated from deep within the tree. It was low and deep, like the roots intertwining beneath the ground. "To find your path, you must confront these burdens. They are not you, they are lessons. Acknowledge them, and in turn you will unleash the joy you seek." Elizabeth's breath hitched at the unexpected revelation. Could that be the secret to unlocking greater joy, the acceptance of her past pain? The fog around her thoughts began to clear, and she felt a rush of gratitude flood her senses. "Thank you," She breathed, reaching out to touch the tree's bark, feeling a connection as ancient as time. Jacob, sensing the shift, took her hand. We must be willing to face what lingers if we are to soar into deeper joy. With hearts brimming with understanding, they exchanged a knowing glance. They had opened a door to a path of transformation, one that led not away from their burdens but toward them. As they prepared to leave the tree's sanctuary, they could feel the guardian's presence behind them, guiding their newfound hope. Elizabeth and Jacob moved with purpose, ready to carry their revelations into the unknown. But as they ventured further into the depths of their journey, a flicker of uncertainty danced in Elizabeth's heart. Would they find the courage to confront what lay ahead? The mist continued to swirl around them, thickening with expectancy. What trials awaited them on this sacred quest for truth? And which of their hidden fears would step into the light next? Heart pounding with divine curiosity, the next step beckoned them onward, closer to the revelations that could change everything. As they stepped away from the majestic tree, the gentle mist wrapped around them like a comforting embrace. Elizabeth could feel a tremor of both excitement and trepidation within her. The atmosphere buzzed with an energy that both prompted and challenged her spirit, pulling her deeper into the journey. "Do you hear that?" Jacob asked, his voice a mixture of awe and curiosity. He paused, tilting his head as if he could catch the faintest sound of a melody resonating from the very air. Elizabeth strained to listen. At first, all she could hear was the rhythm of her own heart. But then, a delicate sound fluttered into her consciousness. It was like distant chimes, a sound ethereal and sweet, dancing through the trees. "Maybe it's the guidance calling us forward," Elizabeth replied, feeling a thrill ripple through her. "Perhaps it's the voice of our soul beckoning us to explore the divine within ourselves." "Let us follow it," Jacob urged, his spirit ignited with newfound hope. They walked hand in hand down the winding path, the mist swirling around them like a sacred cloak. Each step felt lighter, as though the burdens they had once carried were shedding away. With every breath, deeper truths began to unravel within Elizabeth's heart. It wasn't just about facing her fears. It was about embracing every part of herself, the illuminated and the shadowed. As they ventured deeper, the landscape transformed. The trees, though still towering, gave way to vibrant hues of blossoms that painted the ground like a splendid tapestry. The earthy scent mingled with notes of wildflowers, intoxicating and uplifting. "Isn't it beautiful?" Jacob exclaimed, clenching her hand tightly. "Feels alive, like it knows we're here." "Yes. The earth is singing a hymn of welcome," Elizabeth responded, her soul igniting with a sense of belonging. The gentle rustle of leaves seemed to echo Jacob's words, affirming their purpose. Then, as they rounded a bend, they came across a crystal-clear stream. The water sparkled like diamonds, cascading over smooth stones, creating a melody of its own. Elizabeth knelt, mesmerized by the patterns dancing in the water, as if every drop was speaking. "Do you think we're meant to hear something here?" Jacob asked softly, kneeling beside her. "Maybe it's time to listen even more closely," she replied, allowing the gentle sound of the stream to wash over her. In that sacred space, Elizabeth closed her eyes, letting her heart quiet. The soothing sound enveloped her, and she began to sense the vibrations of the universe around them. "Trust the current," a whisper rose within her. "It carries your truth and reveals the light behind your burdens." "What was that?" Jacob inquired, his brow furrowing. "Did you hear it?" Elizabeth nodded, a warmth filling her chest. "The voice of my soul. I think I'm finally beginning to understand." As the realization settled like a gentle blanket around her, Elizabeth opened her eyes to find Jacob gazing intently at her. "What next? How can we dive deeper into this guidance?" She felt the weight of the question settling in the air, shimmering with divine potential. "We must trust ourselves more," she replied with newfound determination. "It's time to explore the depths of our souls and hear the secrets they've been waiting to share." With invigorated hearts, they rose. But just as they were about to take another step, a sudden rustle in the foliage made them halt. The serene moment shattered, leaving them in breathless anticipation. What would they discover on this sacred path? What truths awaited them as they ventured deeper into the realm of their souls? The golden light of hope shimmered just out of reach, urging them forward into the unknown, where divine revelations beckoned like distant stars in the night sky. Elizabeth and Jacob held their breath, their senses alive with curiosity. The rustle had grown into a soft, melodic humming, a hymn merging with the sound of the stream, creating a symphony that wrapped around them. Elizabeth felt the beautiful energy vibrating through her. It was as if the earth had awakened. "What do you think it is?" Jacob whispered, eyes shining with wonder. "I don't know," Elizabeth replied, "but it feels sacred." Her heart pounded with equal measures of fear and excitement. Suddenly, a light shimmered through the trees. It twinkled like starlight, pulsating with a gentle invitation. Elizabeth found herself drawn to the brilliance, as if it were a beacon guiding them. She grabbed Jacob's hand, and together they stepped closer, letting their instincts lead them. As they approached the luminous presence, the delightful humming grew louder. It transformed into words, weaving through the air like tender whispers. "Come forth, seekers of truth." The voice was soft yet powerful, resonating deeply within their spirits. "Is this real?" Jacob asked, glancing at Elizabeth, searching her eyes for answers. "I believe it is," she replied, her heart fluttering with hope. "We've come so far. It's time to embrace whatever lies ahead." With cautious steps, they moved into a clearing bathed in golden light. There stood an ancient stone altar, ornately carved with symbols and patterns that shimmered as if alive. Atop it rested a small vial of clear liquid, glittering in the sunlight. A comforting warmth radiated from the altar, enveloping them. "Could this be what we were meant to find?" Jacob murmured, captivated by the scene. In that moment, Elizabeth felt an urging from within. "I think we're here to receive a blessing, a revelation." She approached the altar, the air thick with anticipation. As she reached for the vial, something stirred within her like a distant memory surfacing. "Wait," Jacob called, his voice a mix of caution and reverence. "We don't know what that is." Elizabeth turned, meeting his gaze. "Sometimes, we must take risks to discover what's waiting for us." She felt a surge of divine purpose, a calling to trust the journey. With trembling hands, she held the vial closer, ensuring her heart was open. "We'll embrace whatever this is. When we trust our souls, the light will guide us." As she uncorked the vial, the liquid shimmered brighter, casting dancing reflections around them. An aroma of wildflowers and rain swept through, leaving them breathless. "Do you feel that?" Elizabeth whispered, overwhelmed by a rush of warmth and clarity. "It's like a promise." Jacob nodded, eyes glistening with respect for the moment. "Let us drink from it together," he suggested. "May it reveal the truths we're meant to uncover." In unison, they raised the vial, pouring the celestial liquid into their mouths. Instantly, a wave of enlightenment washed over them, leaving behind the weight of doubt. Their hearts thrummed as vibrations of love and hope pulsed through their entire beings. "Wow," Jacob breathed, as images flickered in their minds, visions of light shattering darkness, clear paths unfolding before them, and echoes of wisdom singing through the air. In that sacred space, they felt truly alive, connected to the very essence of existence. With each heartbeat, they ventured deeper into understanding. Structures within their souls began to dissolve, revealing the divine essence beautifully hidden beneath layers of life. "Let us keep moving," Elizabeth breathed, enveloped in the afterglow of their shared experience. "There's so much more to uncover." As they turned to leave, the echoes of the enchanting hymn swept over them again, intermingling with their thoughts. "Can you still hear it?" Jacob asked, amazed. "It's almost as if it's calling us to the next part of our journey." "Yes," Elizabeth responded, her heart tethered to the promise of what lay ahead. "And each note feels like a step towards a greater understanding, unveiling truths we've longed to discover." With renewed determination, they stepped back onto the path. But as they ventured further, the sound of the hymn began to shift, morphing into a haunting chant, intensely beautiful yet mysterious. What is it trying to tell us? Elizabeth thought aloud, her pulse quickening. With the call of the unseen guiding them, what more would they encounter in this extraordinary space of awakening? What divine truths awaited them on this path of discovery? As the light dimmed into twilight, the tangle of their thoughts began to intertwine with anticipation. As Elizabeth and Jacob journeyed deeper into this sacred adventure, the air around them shimmered with possibilities. The haunting melody gradually transformed into a soft lullaby, reassuring, like a warm blanket wrapping around their hearts. They walked hand in hand, guided by the rhythm of their souls, their steps steady with purpose. "Do you feel how light it is?" Elizabeth commented, glancing at Jacob, her eyes sparkling with newfound clarity. "All those burdens we thought weighed us down, they seem so distant now." "It's like we've shed a skin," Jacob replied, a huge smile breaking across his face. "Every truth we embrace helps us carry less. We're becoming who we were meant to be." Just then, a golden light burst forth from the trees ahead. It twinkled like stars scattered across the twilight sky, illuminating the path before them. A joyful thrill surged within Elizabeth's heart. "Look, Jacob, it's shining just for us." With purposeful strides, they approached the radiant source. As they drew nearer, they discovered a small gathering of villagers from Gracewood, all standing quietly in the clearing, illuminated by the soft glow. Old Mrs. Thompson was there, her face radiating benevolence. Jason Parker, looking rejuvenated, stood proudly alongside a few young ones adorned with flowers from the earth. "What is happening?" Jacob whispered, a mix of awe and question saturating his voice. "They've come to witness our journey," Elizabeth proposed, feeling the air thrum with benevolence. "They've felt us traveling our prayers, our devotion, and perhaps they bring their own need for healing." "Elizabeth!" shouted Mrs. Thompson, her voice resonating like a bell. "We've all felt your spirit's call, the struggle and the hope. We gathered to rejoice and to reflect all that our village has overcome. Will you join us?" Elizabeth felt chills of inspiration flood her. "This moment, it's of God. We must share the truths we've uncovered, the insights gained through faith." With a nod, Elizabeth and Jacob joined the circle of their beloved community. They stood at the center, faces glowing, surrounded by familiar warmth. The light above pulsed gently, and in that sacred communion, they felt the essence of goddess love envelop them all. "Together, let us lift each other in prayer," Elizabeth began, sentiment building in her voice. "Let us share our burdens, for only in acknowledgement can we let the light transform us." One by one, villagers shared their triumphs, their pain, and the hope that emerged from struggles. Each voice became a fragrant offering, a blend of humanity's messiness and the beauty of divine creation. Tears fell freely, but so did laughter, weaving the fabric of their faith deeper. As they prayed together, Elizabeth felt the burden of grief that had once consumed her begin to lift. The presence of God welcomed her into everlasting peace, and the radiant glow above illuminated their unity like never before. "Life is an upward journey," exclaimed Jacob, his excitement palpable. "Through joy and doubt, faith leads us forward, together." At that moment, a gentle breeze swept through the clearing, whispering secrets of love and promises fulfilled. "Indeed, we are as branches of the same tree," Elizabeth said softly. "Intertwined, we rise together, lifting one another closer to God's heart." As the final notes of their prayers echoed into the night, Elizabeth glanced at Jacob. "This is it, the miracles we were meant to witness." Just then, the golden light enveloped them in its embrace, and like a flash of inspiration, Elizabeth understood. "Jacob, this light, it's our guiding star. It represents our faith and our collective journey. It beckons us to share this experience beyond ourselves." Without hesitation, the villagers started illuminating the path behind them, promising to carry the light of hope to those who couldn't make the journey. She could feel the flame in her heart ignite once more, burning brightly with purpose. And as they moved under that radiant glow, Elizabeth and Jacob led the charge, hearts open, ready to embrace all who needed reassurance. Their pilgrimage was no longer just a journey of two. It had morphed into a greater calling, all souls reconciling with love, faith, and community. With every echo of their footsteps, a promise emerged. A testimony of healing, unity, and divine grace would ripple out, transforming lives far beyond Gracewood. Lightened hearts soared alongside the gentle whispers of prayers, weathering the storms that life would bring. As they stepped into tomorrow, Elizabeth and Jacob knew the unfolding chapters held divinity within. This is what it means to hear your soulless voice, Elizabeth thought, her heart dancing with joy. To connect, to share, and to allow the divine to reign over all. Now, dear reader, you stand at a crossroads to embrace this moment. Step into faith and share this light. Subscribe immediately to our channel for more exclusive faith stories. Never miss a story of divine manifest. Leave a like now. Nourish the algorithm and help spread this powerful message. Comment below your thoughts, reactions, and testimonies about how you hear your soulless voice. And for those in your life who need to feel this love, share instantly with at least 5 friends. Don't wait even one more second. Only true servants of God know the thrill of spreading faith and hope. Join us in this divine adventure.